Hello, hello, and welcome back to another moon ceremony. I'm Safrianna Lughna, the queer spirit guide, and as always, it's a delight to be here with you tonight for the second biggest full moon of 2025 and also our last full moon in 2025. So I'm really feeling the call to really do some extra clearing and energy work in this ceremony tonight and to just really allow us to land in all that has been and all that's coming too as we prepare for the year ahead. So, as always, we will talk about the energy of the current moon. We will set some intentions, followed by an energy clearing. Then we'll dive into a guided practice. And then I will pull some cards for the collective. If this is your first time with me, all you want or need really is a notebook just in case you want to actually tangibly write down your intentions, because that always lands them more, and any other things that come through in the meditation. So, before we begin, I just always like to tell people to engage in whatever way feels comfortable to them. The reason I format these ceremonies the way that I do is so that people can be completely anonymous and have their own private experience, or they can share in community. So, you are always welcome to leave a comment, let me know how you're doing, what's coming through on this full moon, but there is never any pressure. So, let's talk about this full moon in Gemini. As I land in it, it's feeling full of possibility. There is definitely an energy that I feel like has been building since we moved out of the Mercury and Saturn retrogrades here recently. And it's bringing with it a lot of hope for me. Like I feel a hopefulness with it that I'm I'm hoping other people feel too, because it's really been swirly. It's really been swirly lately, with people just in some deep life shit. Like everyone that I know, I actually was having a conversation earlier, and I was networking with a new person for the first time. And I'm just really honest when I network. Like if I'm not doing great, I just say, yeah, life's hectic right now. And so she asked me how I was doing. And I was like, yeah, I've got some, chaos going on with this house I'm selling. And we had like a laugh about it because we were like, yeah, everybody right now has some swirly shit they're in. Mine just happens to be the house. So if you're in your swirly shit, I just want you to know you're not alone, that, I see you and others are in this with you. And it's important to remember right now that we're not alone, especially when things feel incredibly challenging. So, I hope that you can know that we're all in this together and that that can alleviate even the smallest of burdens. But this full moon in Gemini is really inviting us into vulnerability, into genuinely speaking the truth of who we are and what is here for us, and essentially the courage to pursue what's ours to pursue, regardless of what people think, regardless of what they say. If we know something is inherent and true to us, this moon is calling us to step powerfully into that and to claim that, to mentally claim that. And by doing that, begin to embody it. And vulnerability is, I love the synchronicities, because I literally had conversations today with another person about vulnerability and how we humans really want connection. We want vulnerability, but it can feel really scary to be vulnerable. So we can dive into the deep end of overexpressing, or we can dive into the deep end of perceived intimacy that's not really lasting intimacy, in a desperate desire to have closeness. And that's so human. We all do these kinds of things at different points in time. But this moon is shining a light on that. And it's inviting us to look at where our communication needs to be upgraded in a way that really honors us, where we're going, our needs. And also, this being our cold moon, literally, this is called the cold moon, and it sure is frigid. But it's a slowing down, it's a going into the winter time to have that stillness and introspection. So, this full moon in Gemini, as we're leading up to Yule, to solstice, to the longest night of the year, is inviting us to slow down, pause, go within, breathe, be vulnerable with ourselves, and then bring that vulnerability up and out to the others in our community that have actually earned our vulnerability, right? Not this artificial just spray and hope, but the people who have really shown us that they're there for us. And that's another theme with this moon is who are the people that you are really seeing, I want to deserve this, or I do deserve, but I'm ready to celebrate this connection that I have with this person because it feels real and it feels solid and it feels like it's nourishing me and I'm nourishing it and them, right? So, as we dive into our intentions here, I'm going to give us our classic intention setter statements, but I also invite you to just make note of any relationships that feel like they're really powerful right now. Any relationships that feel like you want to grow them, build them, etc., because that is important to look at, especially right here, right now. So, for the next 2-ish weeks, what would you like to focus on? What would you like to commit to, choose to, or lovingly let go of? You can answer any or all of these prompts in your own journal. And I'm going to take a moment to write down my intentions as well. So, your intention for the next 2 or so weeks, as well as any names that come to mind of people who you really are celebrating connecting with. And again, this can be something you're calling in, something you're letting go of. There's no right or wrong. And as you write down these intentions, or even move to connect with them, you might immediately begin to notice some challenges come in, some thoughts that seem to deter you or naysay. If those thoughts or feelings are there, just lovingly become aware of them as we move into releasing. So, before we even release, I just want to remind you that you're so worthy, that you deserve wonderful relationships and to be able to communicate your full expression. And whatever's calling to you, whatever next level you're stepping into, you've been called to it for a reason. So allowing that to land in your bones if you can. But if you notice those nagging thoughts that say, I can't have this, there's no way that's possible, or just any feelings of fear, shame, disappointment, anything you feel open to releasing right here, right now, gently allowing that to come to the forefront and be lifted up with your breath, with the smoke, with the energy. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Clearing, clearing, clearing. And I'm doing some gentle energetic work for anyone who would like it. You just have to say yes. And there I am, and you and your guide team. Just gently releasing, dissolving in a way that feels so good. Any stuck, sticky, or stagnant energy that's ready to go right here, right now. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Releasing the fear that you can't have what you want. Releasing the shame of wanting. Releasing the disappointment of not having gotten what you've wanted in the past. Releasing any negative beliefs that keep you in a limited mindset that say you can't have. Releasing, releasing, releasing. And I'm just going to give a little gentle warning here so that you can really choose. You know that my experiences, if you've come along for the ride, you know that we don't ever know what we're really getting ourselves into. We are just going with the flow of spirit. But we are going to be working with some challenging energy tonight that might be difficult. So if you feel like you need a break, remember that you are fully safe and sovereign to do what you need to do in your own space. But we're going to continue to do some releasing work as we move into our time of visualization and meditation. As always, I just like to remind people that this is your experience. You may see, know, taste, smell, touch, get a ping. There's no one right way for how these guided experiences come through. You do not have to follow 100% along. You can do what you need to do. But before we dive into that, I just invite you to imagine that underneath you is a floor, a foundation of a dark black crystal. So this could be tourmaline, it could be obsidian, it could be onyx, whatever you feel called to. But I have tourmaline, and I'm literally physically holding a tourmaline on behalf of all of us to just ground and center here in the knowingness that we have had long, complex years. And that as we move into even more release, we are held and supported. So just feeling that grounding presence, dark foundation beneath you, helping cleanse and clear through this whole process. So go ahead and tune into your breath as it is here right now. Just noticing the quality of the inhale and exhale, allowing them to be as gentle and natural as you can. And noticing your body head to toe encapsulated here in this moment. And then whatever you notice here, just beginning to let it go and to drop from your thinking mind down into your heart space. Breathing, expanding the chest. And as you exhale, just releasing any physical tension. And I'll invite you here to tune into the energy of love, unconditional love, as much as you can here in this moment. Perhaps recalling a recent memory with a loved one, an animal companion, or Mother Nature where you felt loved. And if nothing immediately comes to mind, you can always imagine yourself surrounded by your favorite animal. And as we breathe here and expand into love, we begin to open a portal in the heart, which shows a dark void, inky blackness. And in your own time and way, you can step through this portal out into the void, the seemingly endless expanse of what you might describe as nothing. As you land here and begin to take in your surroundings, you start to notice that it's not nothingness, though. That in this void, there is presence, power. Anything is possible here. And as you focus, you notice, you observe, and look around, you notice that there are somethings, there's substance pinpricks of light or vague shapes, and just knowing you're not alone. And as you feel this sense that you're not alone, you are joined by a guide. Take a moment to notice who arrives for you. And if no one immediately arrives, there is a butterfly there for you. Noticing your guide, the butterfly, or both. Just taking some moments to connect with whoever is here, noticing them, noticing if there's any features that stand out, any colors. And then you can just ask, why are you here for me right now? Just noticing the first things that arise in you, sensations, words. Why is this guide here for you right now? And you begin to move through this space with your guide, through this inky void, this dark abyss. And as you move, you notice there's a trail behind you, a trail of glitter like dust that you sort of emanate as you move and comes in waves off of you. And in fact, as you turn around and you look, you can see this line of glitter, this trail, this path of your energy far, 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 far behind you. Your whole history stretching out behind you in particles, in energy, in waveforms. You can see the substance of it in some way, sense it, this residue of where you have come from. So as you look back and you turn to look forward, you see that the path before you is clear. You keep moving forward. And sure enough, you look behind you and there continues that trail. This story, this path that you've been on, this trajectory that you have walked, leaving an impact wherever you've gone, an imprint of who you were then. How does that feel for you to look back, to know that you've had an impact, to see the residue that you leave behind? And as you pause here, you turn back around and you observe. And you begin to notice some of the nuances in this trail you've left. Sometimes it really is like glitter. It's bright and effervescent. And as you look at it, you feel good. There's a sense of pride or a sense of calm, something really steady, something really positive. And then you notice that dingier, a little less energetically clear sort of dust. These moments on your path that didn't feel so good, where maybe you weren't so in alignment. Maybe you didn't have the impact you wanted to have. As you look back specifically over this last year, over the 13 moons that we've traversed, what stands out to you that you're ready to let go of? You're ready to clear here from your energy field so that you don't have to carry it with you, dimming your shine. What from this past year are you ready to hand over and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit, for all the lessons and all of the learning and all the growing? But no thanks. I'm done with you now. I feel complete. Just noticing anything arising for you that you feel ready to release. Perhaps some of those hardest earned lessons, whatever they are, you, your guide, me, your whole team are here to charge, to rejuvenate the energy and those less sparkly particles. So, however, this comes through, whether through the power of earth, air, fire, water, light, the shadow itself, through energy waves, we're going to clear some of this energy that you no longer want to carry with you. And you see it beginning to work because those particles begin to blink with bright light. They turn to glitter. You begin to see or sense how you offering them thanks and gratitude for the lessons learned are helping them transform into these sparkly, beautiful little nuggets of wisdom. Thank you. Thank you. And perhaps there needs to be an energy of forgiveness here, forgiveness for yourself, for parts of that path that maybe you veered off course, were a little misaligned, or made a choice that wasn't in your highest good. We all do it. We're human. So offering yourself forgiveness, knowing that you have learned, and seeing the light return, more and more effervescent glitteriness coming online as you acknowledge your humanity, as you offer yourself compassion. And breathing here, looking at your path behind you, seeing that as you give it attention, as you acknowledge it, it begins to transform. You here in the present have the power to look back, to be in new relationship with different parts of your story, different parts of you, different experiences. Through your intention, your will, your power, you begin to be in more and more aligned relationship with all parts of you, past, present, future. It's vulnerable to admit where you feel like you've misstepped. So, as you can, and aided by your guides, feeling compassion for yourself here in all the vulnerability of being human. And remember that you get to move forward. You get to keep creating this path behind you. And with each step that you take intentionally, you consciously create that impact. So embody that here for a moment. Fully stepping into the version of you next year, seasons ahead, that has embraced self alignment even more. Allow your body to feel here for a moment what it's like to be even more aligned, perhaps feeling at ease, feeling warmth, feeling a sense of self. And just for a moment, walk forward, embodying that energy. Feel yourself walking with the confidence of who you are, who you came here to be. And then look behind you at the sparkling path left in your wake, your radiant energy contributing to all life. And if you can, feel a small smile on your face, knowing you have this impact and you can continue to have this impact. And feel your heart lighten. How do you want to be that person? How do you want to step forward? And whatever's come forward for you, just taking a moment to look around the inky black, to notice your sparkles here in this space, your energy contributing to it, almost like you've made a nebula or the stars in space. More light in here than when you started, more light peeking through. And then take a final moment here to tune back into your guides and see if they have any words of wisdom, sensations, or messages to offer you as you complete this practice. And no matter what has come through, just knowing and receiving here that you are so loved, you are so supported by seen and unseen forces. You are held in the great all, and you get to step powerfully, vulnerably into the fullness of who you are more and more each day. We are all rooting for you. And now, gently releasing this practice, you can step back through that portal, back into the heart, gently coming back into the body, wiggling the fingers and toes. And if the eyes are not already open, you can blink them open and take some moments to look around your space. Get a nice little twist in there. So, I hope that that was nourishing for you in some way to just release and to clear some residue. That's maybe some stuck old stuff. And I just want to affirm the energy work, if you choose to accept this, is ongoing with this. And I feel this powerful collective energy of people's guides, their guardian angels, their ancestors wanting to support this next evolution right now, of not holding on to all the shit of our past all the time, but really like accepting what came forward in it and allowing it to integrate so that we can move forward better. We as a human species have been sort of circling the same drains for a while. And I'm just really getting this message like there's a transition happening with that. And something big is shifting. So that's all I have to say on that note. I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards for the collective as I'm shuffling over here. As always, if there's anything you want to share, anything that came through in the meditation, you can drop it in the comments. You can send me a private message. You can email me. I'm always here to listen to what came through for you. Oh, glad that was lovely, Holly. So I'm just asking these cards for messages regarding this Gemini energy when it comes to, what we need to embrace and what we need to call in order to step into this next level of communication and especially vulnerable, honest, integrity based communication. So let's see what they have to say. All right. First, we've got Day Moon, Love, which, oh my goodness, what a beautiful card. And this is a super moon, all right. I mean, look how beautiful and bright and big. So this is reminding us to stand in our love, right? To be open-hearted in how we communicate. If we go into our communication already fearful of how it's going to go, already worried about what people are going to say, already thinking of our next response before we've even shared the same, but like the first thing. How are we going to move forward? So we need to really be going into our communication with love at the forefront. And this is something that's coming forward is with this Gemini moon in particular, is that piece about it inviting us to really look at what connections feel empowered and like they're reciprocal and like we want to feed them more, because that's where we're going to really have this love fuel happening and where we're going to be able to practice communicating vulnerably is in those relationships. Glad you loved it. um and then our next card, Quicksilver Moon, changes. Okay, first of all, let's just like look at this stance here. And we've got this beautiful swan energy, flowers, and this very like open hearted, her arms are open. She is open hearted as she moves through these changes. Gosh, there are changes happening everywhere right now. I just keep getting these messages that collectively we're going through one of our biggest shifts that we have in a really long time, and it's been kind of slowly building in many ways since about 2012, started to speed up 2016, 2018, 2020. Like every 2 years we've kind of had a I'm trying to come up with a word here, and what I keep getting is rapiding, which is totally not a word, but it keeps ramping up, exponentially growing in pace. And I feel like the changes are ever more afoot right now. We're feeling it. We're feeling like we're becoming new people. We're feeling like there's major shifts happening in lifestyles, in careers, in relationships. We're in this huge period of reorientation. So this is just reminding us like this last full moon of the year, right? To really be with all of the changes that we've also experienced over the course of this year. Because if your year was anything like mine, I have changed tremendously this year as a person, as a human being. So it's time to really accept those changes and keep going. And our final card, and I love this, Moon Rising, Truth. So this full moon in Gemini is reminding us to speak our truth, to stand in our truth, to know what is true for us. And you know, there's this invitation right now to really slow down and to go within. That's the winter solstice calling us, this cold moon calling us. It is a season of hibernation, and that is really a great time to go within and to find that truth. So I really as a sun sign Gemini, so it's the only Gemini in my chart, but I am a sun sign Gemini. I really do feel like we Geminis want to say some spicy truth sometimes. And I feel like that's actually indicated here in this full moon is like there might need to be some hard conversations you need to have with some people in your life. There's this invitation to really figure out who you're meant to connect with and who feels really good and nourishing. And there's also an invitation to figure out where it doesn't feel so good and to be really honest and truthful about that. So this is Moon Rising Truth. That is the message with that. So I hope those messages landed for you, that there was something in there that spoke to where you're at, and that you can really be gentle with yourself for this last full moon. The full moons are great times to cleanse. So if you feel drawn to more ritual work, I really invite you to go forth and go see the supermoon if you can see it where you're at. B, continue to connect that energy. You can let go of that black stone energy beneath your feet now if you want, or you can keep it there and let some of the shit you're letting go keep draining from your feet into the earth over the next 24 hours or so. This is a great time for untangling and just really doing what you need to do to walk forward with that clarity and that truth and that ability to show up vulnerably because you know you're with the people that can receive you. So I think that's all I have for messages for this full moon in Gemini. But just to uh, catch you up to speed before we wrap for today. First and foremost, if this was your first time dropping in, or it's your 50th time dropping in and you don't want to miss it, you can go to safrianna.com/moon and sign up for the moon ceremony reminders so that you get emails in your inbox a week, 3 days, and an hour before. And the replay link is right there for you. And if you have the means and desire to do so, I always love receiving heart donations from people who have a little extra cash to throw my way. So you can go to safrianna.com, donate if that is you. And then otherwise, just some heads up PSAs. I will not be live for the final new moon of the year. I will be in a private Zoom room for the winter solstice. So, no moon ceremony. You're not missing me if you can't find the live for the next new moon. That will be for Yule. If you would like to join us for that, you can go to safrianna.com/seasonal for all of the information on how to join us there. And that's in our seasonal shenanigans series that I do in collaboration with my dear friend, Dr. Melissa Bird. And we do the whole wheel of the year. So if it so happens one of the holidays and the moons overlap, now I am defaulting to doing the holiday, and then the rest of the moons free all year long. So feel free to join us if that calls to your soul. That is Thursday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And of course, we send out the replays. But otherwise, I will be back here live for another moon ceremony on Friday, January 2nd, as we call in the new year. How exciting, for another full moon, this time in Cancer. So I'm just getting all of my signs here at the end of the year. So I am so delighted, as always, that you joined me here for this experience. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know what landed for you, how these ceremonies can be even more potent. And if you are watching this and you are willing to do so, please feel free to reach out and get my survey link, because I am planning to open a private community in 2026 beyond this public community here on YouTube. And if you would be interested in that, I'd love to get your feedback. So don't hesitate to reach out and get that link. All right, my friends. Blessed full moon in Gemini to you. Enjoy that beautiful moon. So glad you got to see the full moon today. It really is beautiful. And I can't wait to see you back here next time or at our Yule ceremony. All right, my friends. Bye for now. I love you. I see you, and I'm cheering you on.